Greetings and merry meet. My name is Mirado, and today I'd like to talk about something that I believe is another problem within the pagan community. What I've noticed online and even not online as well is the abundance of people who are picking up a book about witchcraft or the occult, not even reading it, all right, and have this belief that because they have this book that they're a witch and can run covens and can do these master spells that you should be afraid of. And if you question them at all about origins, mythology, or anything that truly they don't really understand, they're going to call you a bigot. All right. This has happened to me plenty of times. And I found it quite funny, actually. Sorry, I am adjusting this camera real quick because the angle sucks. This vlogging equipment was supposed to be top of the line, but it sucks. It's kind of too late for me to get my money back. Either way, so I'm hoping that this new microphone helps. I know this light helps, and the filter is awesome. You know, that's the stand in this remote right here. I love it, but it's just the system as a whole. It sucks. But this talk kind of relates to what I posted on my Facebook account on January 5th of this year, 2021. And I'm going to read it to you verbatim. That way I'm not paraphrasing and messing up or misquoting even myself. I don't like misquoting anybody. If I feel like I'm about to misquote them, then I'll paraphrase. And I like to keep that at a rarity. And it says, my post specifically says, "What is wrong with these newer witches? We need to get back to respecting our roots. It's bad enough that pillars of our community have sold out in the name of acceptance of other people's views. We don't need to perpetuate that mistake with idiocracy. It's because of this acceptance view that we now have people in the community who literally think that owning a book about the occult makes them an experienced enough witch to take on the spiritual responsibility of training another person. They are somehow a witch king or queen, much like Alex Sanders, who is also known as the Witch King. He and Maxine Sanders are the founders of the Alexandrian tradition of Wicca. And Witch Queen, much like what Jessica Bell claimed herself to be as the American Queen of Witches. She's popularly known as Lady Sheba. I'll call her by Jessica Bell because she's a traitor and an oath breaker. I have no respect for people like that. Even though they claim this, even though they haven't even read that book on the occult, that occult book they have stored on their bookshelf. These are the same people who mock our ancestors and centuries of wisdom and customs. The same people who demand that you and I accept and embrace their views, but paint us as frauds or bigots when we decline to do so. All right? These people are the same people who claim to be woke and know the truth, but expects you and I to accept their truth instead of the truth. Pagans are seekers of knowledge and truth. There is no such thing as your truth or my truth. Got it? It's the truth and your opinion or my opinion. Either way, truth is not relative or subjective. It is objective and absolute. You can have your experiences, which are roughly unique, if not similar to others. However, just because you have your own experiences, that doesn't mean it's your truth. It's just your experience. These actions only spell out one word for those people: fools. They don't care about seeking knowledge. They only care about how calling themselves a pagan or a witch will make them look to the Christian family. They don't care about preserving our roots while continuously building on the craft. As Scott Cunningham said in one of his books, and he included this as one of his own personal laws, that ever remember that the craft is ever changing and always evolving. Therefore, be as the river willow, who sways and blows with the wind. That which remains changeless, shall outlive its spirit. But that which sways and blows with the wind shall live forever. Okay? But these people, they only care about themselves. They have absolutely no interest in learning the why or how of anything. They are only interested in the when will they get something out of it. And I'm going to expand on that. Brand new witches, I've noticed, have jumped straight to spells. It's very saddening to me because when you don't know the how or why, and you basically don't know anything about the craft, and you jump straight to spells just because you read a book about spells, that's really not even enough to fully cast a spell. Because a lot of books, like spell books, I'm gonna give you an example. The Elements Encyclopedia of the Elements Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells by Judica Isles. That mentions nothing about the Witch's Pyramid. All right? And even though not every path believes in this pyramid, simply because of the name, when you look at their practices, they do believe in it. They just call it something different. So when somebody says that Witch's Pyramid is only relative to Wicca, no, it's not. Because the first thing and the first peg of the Witch's Pyramid, first point, I should say, because there's 5 of them, is to know. Okay? And shamanism, being the very first religion, where all other religions birthed from, the word shaman comes from the Mangu-Tungus word suman, which means to know. Therefore, these people were meant to not only know themselves, but know the craft. Know what they're doing. To know. Okay? So the first The point of the witch's pyramid is to know. So not only must you know yourself, but to a certain degree, because we're not going to fully know ourselves, because if we do, then we're fully awakened. And then we become ascended masters, and we can choose to manifest and dissipate at will. All right, because when we're fully awakened, then our atoms and all of our other molecules, our particles, are vibrating so fast that we're basically spirit. All right, we've already went past even the divine plane, which we'll get into in a later episode further down in the future. But back to the spells part, but when you don't have the know, then you're not going to advance to the next point of the witch's pyramid. All right, so when you don't know what you're doing, then you're not going to know how to will it. Then you're not going to know how to do it. You're not going to know to go, and you're certainly not going to know to be silent. Because a lot of these newer people, they are broadcasting all over the internet. Look what I did. Look what I did. Look what I did. Before their spell even manifests. So when their spell does not work because of something they did, then they disavow witchcraft, calling it fake, a fiction, a mental disorder, stuff like that. Or they'll describe it. They'll try to describe it psychologically when they have absolutely no credentials to do so. Where they say that it's all in the mind. Well, yes, but no. Yes, but no. All right? The change that you must have, you feel that you must have, it must start here. All right? Then it goes to here. Then it goes up into the higher planes in order to come down. As above, so below. Just as the Emerald Tablet says. Okay? So, when we see these baby witches, as we call it, a lot of us are calling them baby witches because they're brand new. Or maybe they're a few months, which I'll get into in just a second. A lot of them really are just interested in power. Now, back to what I was reading. I left off with, they have absolutely no interest in learning the why or the how of anything. They're only interested in the when will they get something out of it. They are only interested in power. There's no Chinese saying that specifically says that if someone is seeking power, to them should it always be denied. When you are seeking to grasp power, to grab it, you don't deserve it. Because you are seeking that which is without you. First, you must seek for what's within you in order to obtain everything that's outside of you. Now, to my talk about frauds and people who are new, I've noticed that a lot of people are advertising services such as tarot readings or other forms of divination, house cleansings, and exorcisms, which is a bad idea, by the way. When they are brand spanking new to the craft. Okay, now, to other people who are not within the craft, I shouldn't say within the craft because now I'm making it sound like a country club. Sorry. To those who do not practice, to those who are not part of the pagan community, I should say, it's easy to fool. They are easy to fool, all right? It's very unethical to do so, okay? Now, I'm not going to be one of these people that say you shouldn't charge for your services because I charge for my services. Plain and simple, I charge for my services because it's my time, my energy, and, got a skill set, may as well make money off of it, but not too outrageous of prices. But these newer people are there's no other way. There's no way for me to put this gently. Frauds. They're charlatans. At least right now they are. They have absolutely no training. And really, to those who don't practice, I'd like to give you a heads up on that. I like to give you a couple things in your arsenal to detect whether or not somebody actually is a fraud, or if they know what it is that they are doing. A couple of things are, if somebody who's offering divination services or occult services hide their credentials or fails or refuses to tell you where they received the training, then I would take a lot of what they say with a grain of salt. Now, a lot of us are initiated, so we are bound by an oath not to tell you what the name of the group is, who specifically, or where. But what I can specifically tell you, given myself as an example, is I read palms, and I do pendulum readings, I do crystal ball readings, and I received this training in a coven setting. Okay, that I was initiated into. I can't by oath tell you the who, where. That's normally enough. If an individual decides to tell you, "Oh, well, spirit guides my hand every time," I'm very skeptical of that. For a simple fact is that you're requiring me to accept solely your word as the truth. Okay? Now, granted, me telling you that I'm bound by an oath not to speak about my coven, like the name of it or who's members of it or where they are, that really is different. I'm not saying that a spirit or divine entity is flat out telling me this is what the cards are telling me or what my tool is telling me, or that because of that, by virtue, I can just start reading. No. Okay? Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this video because there's a lot of these woke people who I have a lot of fun debunking nearly everything they have to say. And I'm not the only person debunking their stuff. They are a smear on the pagan community. And, it's quite annoying, actually, because we work very hard to help people. And we've got these charlatans who not only don't know what they're doing, but try to copy people's routine. Now, that's somewhat okay if you know what you're doing. You don't have to be an expert in order to mimic somebody else's routine. A lot of times that's how you learn, but just taking bits and pieces of a routine and running with it, that's not okay. It's not okay. And I'm not going to coddle anybody and say, "Oh, don't worry. Everybody's different." Yeah, everybody is different, but not everybody sees it okay to be fake, to be a fraud. And geez, I really don't know what else to say about it besides just if they're refusing to tell you credentials, or they're giving you a runaround like, "Oh, spirit, I woke up and spirit told me I should read cards," or spirit told me I should read pendulums or palm reading. No. For a simple, most of divinatory practices were developed by man with divine influence. Okay? Not man as in like male, female, but you know what I mean. If you don't, then go see a psychiatrist. They were developed by humans throughout centuries, usually centuries. And yes, I'm going to acknowledge divine influence. Okay? Do I believe that the gods did teach us how to do certain things? Yes, I do. Do I believe that the gods speak to us through many different means? Yes, I do. But do I believe that someone just wakes up and go, bam, now I'm an expert on tarot or palm reading or any other form of divination? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And anybody who tries to convince you otherwise, they're trying to get something out of you. And it's usually not good. Usually some of the questions I'll ask is, where'd you get your training? How long were you trained? If you're offered any type of paper credentials, may I please see them? And if they're given any kind of paper credentials, they shouldn't have any kind of problem showing you, unless they were a member of a coven, received that training in a coven, and are bound by an oath not to discuss coven matters there or reveal any secrets of the art. A lot of covens now, actually I think the majority of them now, are open covens where there's no oath of secrecy. They're usually the old guard covens are few and far between. So just be careful. Just be careful about people who are brand spanking new to the community and claim to be these experts. Okay? And if there's anybody that you know who has only been practicing maybe like a year and claims to have this coven, like this grand coven or any kind of coven, instead of a mere study group, be wary of that too. A lot of people seek people who do divination for guidance, for counseling a lot of times, and giving them the wrong information, it's not cool. It's not okay. I get it. Some people make mistakes, and mistakes are okay. Mistakes are okay because it helps us grow. However, claiming to be an expert at any form of divination is not only putting your own reputation on the line, for the future, and no one will ever believe you when you finally do become an expert, but you are putting your clients' psychological and possibly even physical well-being at risk. Telling somebody something like the wrong information about, let's say, their spouse or their lover or their significant other, so to speak. What you tell them could, hopefully would help them out in the relationship or with their own personal growth, but it could also lead them down a road that could be to their detriment. And how would you honestly feel about that? How would you honestly feel about telling somebody that their significant other has absolutely no dark side when they could be the Boston Strangler for all you know. Okay? So really know your art. Know your art. And if you don't know your art, or if you claim to know your art, then do sample readings. Seek out a mentor. Okay? And seek out a mentor and do some readings on them. You know, just ask them not to tell you very much about them. You know, but seek out a mentor, and you'll know a little bit about them, because when I say seek out a mentor, I'm telling you to seek out a professional or somebody who is in that field of divination and has been in that field for a while. All right, so do some practice readings on them, and take hints from them. Take their advice. And if you're just starting off with this, don't be charging anybody for your readings. Don't. You know, wait until you are actually trained, which usually takes anywhere from a few years, really, to start charging. Anything other than that really is unethical. I'm not saying that people are not fast learners, but me, with the Black Rose, I generally told my students, hey, don't even think about it until at least a year and a day. You know, that way we know that you are actually ready to start taking responsibility over the lives and psychological well-being of other people. Because whatever happens as a result of your reading, your karma is entangled with that. So, as I said, I know I'm going to get a lot of enemies because of this, and frankly, I don't care. You know, if anybody starts despising me over my videos, you know, that's their problem, not mine. It just shows their psychological detriment and their mental health problem. And you know, and here's to all the people that do hate me. Your psychological problem, it's not my problem. So anyway, on a better note, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. If you like my content and would like to see more, please leave a comment, press the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell, so that way you can be notified of future videos. Thank you very much, and until next time, blessed be.